Hello, everybody. I am the wonderful Miss Gracie Love, and I am so excited, like always, to be here this evening. And I thank you so much for joining me. I have a very special guest. But again, I want to thank you guys for joining me, and welcome to the Chicago Bridge Magazine, where podcast where we are here to honor extraordinary people making history. And again, I have the extraordinary pleasure of having the Nation of Islam's top fisherman, Brother Abdul Malik Muhammad, joining me this evening. Hi, peace and blessings to you, brother.
Peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Gracie. How are you?
I am doing very well today on this Friday. How are you doing?
I couldn't be better. I'm sitting with the mother of civilization, the second self of God. I'm elated.
Absolutely. I am so happy and so honored to be able to have you joining me today. An absolute pleasure it to be able to meet you and again be able to do this interview with you this evening. Now everybody isn't as fortunate as I am to be able to get your bio and learn about all the amazing things that you've been able to accomplish in your life. So if you could just give the people a background of where you started from and the journey that you took to get here today.
Awesome. Okay. Awesome. First of all, I'd like to thank Sister Bridget, for giving me this opportunity to come on and get this interview with you and share my side of the fence. Most times they paint the picture of black people and we don't get an opportunity to mitigate what they litigate. But platforms like this give us that opportunity to paint another picture of us, to offset some of the things that they say. Can you change my name right here from Warren Jackson to Abdul Malik Muhammad? Because that's the slave master's last name. And I've been killed it, if you
Mm,
will.
right.
Oh, praises be to Allah. But I'm just a young brother out of Chicago, Illinois, raised up in Oakland, California. You know, had a rough upbringing because after they shut down all the factories in the 50s and the 60s, they gave us cocaine from Colombia and put it in our community. And my father became one that was involved in that, and he flourished in that area. But in the meantime, I was there watching all of this. Not good to feed that to a young man that's 2 years old. And I ended up getting shipped to Chicago at 11 years old. And the only thing I knew about hustling was that. And his brothers was doing the same thing here in Chicago. So I mimicked that. In the process of doing that, I ended up getting indicted. They indicted me for a 25 kilo conspiracy, 1.5 million in the trunk of my car, headed to Jersey, and they
Mm,
gave me life in prison.
mm,
During the process, they gave me a downward departure because I was an adolescent when that went down, and I ended up doing 15 years. I did 13 on 15, but during the process of me coming through the belly of the beast, kind of like Jonah in the whale,
mm,
I was able to get operated on by a man by the name of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan through his tapes and his videos and his audios. It kind of surgically removed the desires that I had prior to meeting him when it came down to my hustle game. And I got out of prison and I joined the nation while I was in prison. I came home and over a period of time, I became the top fisherman in the Nation of Islam and I became a mission minded man, one who is obsessed with the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, Sister Gracie Love.
Absolutely. Now, for those of us who
Mhm.
don't know what it means to be top fisherman, can you explain that to us? What does that mean?
Well, in the Bible, for those who know that, Jesus saw Peter fishing in a
Mm,
boat trying to feed his family. He said, "Come, follow me and throw down that rod, and I'll make you a fisherman of men."
mm,
You're going to fish for that. I'm going to fish for men. So that's what we do. We fish for human beings so that we can bring them in and extract that poison that this government has put in us. Kind of like the Matrix, Neo in Matrix 1, when they got him in the back of the car, they said, "He can't go with us until you get that bug out of him." And they
mm,
put the thing on his stomach and sucked it out. Well, we have one of those bugs in us, but it doesn't get sucked out like that. It has to be spiritually, surgically removed. And that is why the life giving teachings was able to take an eighth grade person by the name of Malcolm X and transform him into the man who can confound all the scholars of this world, as we saw on video with Malcolm X. So, this is what happened to me. So I became the top fisherman in that area where I can extract a lot of people based on my connection with the God within. They come with me and we change lives in that manner.
mm.
That's what it means by me being the number one fisherman.
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you for that. Now, you did mention the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And do you see him as some kind of like a modern day kind of a Jesus? How would you describe him and the impact that he has made in your life?
You know, I'm glad you asked that question because if you read the Bible, I don't know how inclined you are in that area, but Jesus says that there's much that I can tell you. He said, "I'm before my time. There's much that I can tell you, but you can't bear it now. But when
Mm,
he comes, huh? When he comes, this spirit of truth, he will guide you into all truth." So the Jesus that we talk about, that white Jesus that we got on our grandma's wall and stuff with the cross and all of that, which that ain't him. The Bible says he had hair like lamb's wool, hair like lamb's wool, feet like burnished brass, and the one on the wall looked like a rock star. So that don't fit the description. However, we've been tricked before. So Jesus prophesied one to come after him. And not only did he prophesy one to come after him, so did J. Edgar Hoover in the counterintelligence program. The FBI head man, J. Edgar Hoover, he said in the COINTELPRO that their job was to stop the rise of a black messiah who can electrify and unify the warlike propensities of black people. And he even identified a few people who fit the description. He said Martin Luther King is a man like that. If he could get rid of the turn the cheek situation and take on the war, the militant aspect of the nation. He said Malcolm X is a man like that. He said Stokely Carmichael is a man like that. He said a few more people, but those people are gone. The only one standing is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and he's changed my life and millions of other all over the world. So he has to be the one that prophecy has spoke about. A
mm.
fool should find it hard to err in that manner, particularly when the white man told his own white friends and brothers that a black Messiah will arise. But we got to keep extinguishing them along the way. That's why Malcolm's dead, Martin's dead, and anybody, Marcus Garvey's dead, Noble Drew Ali is out of here. So yeah, I believe that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Matter of fact, I don't believe nothing. I know that this man is the Jesus we've been waiting for, and I am one of his disciples.
I'm glad you said it because that was going to be my next question. So, do you consider yourself a disciple, and would you say that there are others out there as disciples?
Absolutely. Of course, the scripture says that you can tell by the fruit it bears. You can tell a tree by the fruit it bears. Likewise, you can tell a man by his works. I am the minister's top fisherman in the Nation of Islam. I'm cool with that. I don't need no instructions on what to do. I just go and do it. I
Mm.
am one of the disciples. There's other ones out here. 12 disciples, sure. And they know themselves better than I do.
Right,
But
right,
I
absolutely.
can tell, I can say personally, I know I'm one of his disciples.
Mm.
And I can't speak for the other disciples. They'd have to speak for themselves.
Absolutely. I
Praise
don't
God.
want to offend nobody, but I just feel like, God chooses his people because nobody's perfect, right? None of the people that, at least for me, when I look at the people that are in the Bible, they weren't perfect people, right? They weren't these people who didn't have nothing wrong with them, right? They were people that were flawed. And they were
That's right.
people, like you said, that had that belief where they just got up and did it. They just went in and did what God needed them to do.
Absolutely. You own it. You've been on that Bible. You gonna tell me something, sister. You know
Let me tell
you
you,
gonna tell
God,
me
he
something.
didn't, reigned over me a lot, and I'm no fool in that. So it's another reason
Absolutely.
why it's definitely a pleasure to be conducting this interview with you this evening.
Beautiful. It's my honor.
Uh, Now, I got to get a little personal with you. Now, with all the killing among our young brothers in our neighborhood, and, unfortunately, Chicago being one that is so talked about the killings out there, we used to see Rainbow Push and others. We no longer see anyone out here. How does the brothers in the nation feel about these killings?
Most of yeah, okay. Most of the killings from our vantage point is manipulated by the same old Ku Klux Klan that used to wear white sheets back in the 50s, 60s, and the 30s. They don't wear white sheets no more. They wear black robes.
Mm,
They're called judges. So these people have a law called 13th Amendment. Slavery nor involuntary servitude shall exist in America except as a punishment for a crime. So they free us from slavery, but they enact laws to put us back in slavery and think that it's justifiable because they committed a crime. But they do things, put drugs in our community, heroin, cocaine, guns, etc. They manipulate us. See, the one who rocks the cradle, they rules the world. You see what I'm saying? These are the puppet masters that are pulling the strings on our brothers. Those young brothers is living across the street. They call him an op. I'm an op. They're 14, 15 years old. They're creating this atmosphere to kill. They take all of the leaders of the gangs and put them in prison so that a chicken with his head cut off is not going to have no real directions. And now you got the children killing one another. The Nation of Islam is doing all we can do, but it ain't all on us.
that's
It's on
right.
all of us. The parents, they got to be a part of. Everyone has to play their part. We're playing our part, as you can see. Some of my videos, I'm speaking in different schools and etc. And brothers all over the nation, you see them if you Google it or go on YouTube. You'll see a bunch of brothers in the Nation of Islam boots on the ground. We're trying to do it, but it's an overwhelming situation, kind of like the levee being broke in Louisiana. What can we do with the water coming in at that level? All we can do is save what we can and let the rest, because everybody ain't gonna live. The flood with Noah, only a few people got in the boat. And the minister gave the trumpet to everybody, gave the invitation for everybody to come into the ark, the modern day Noah's ark. But the people want to stay out there in the water. They catch the wave. They miss the boat. So we're going to continue to fight the good fight, but there's not much that we can do but say what wants to be said.
Absolutely. And got a lot of people on the comments down here. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments and we'll definitely get to those. I have something else I would like to ask you. You mentioned earlier that, your your name, you killed that name. And so what inspired you to do that? How did that process come about for you?
Well, my name is Warren Jackson. My daddy gave me that name, Warren. I'm a junior. My
Okay.
granddaddy gave him that name, Warren. They from Louisiana. My granddaddy is French and Indian.
Mm,
So we got the name from the Frenchmen, from them. They passed it down. The word Jackson comes from slavery.
mm,
A man named Jack, and I was the son. So they call me Jack Son. Who that boy right there? Oh, that one of Jack's son.
mm,
So when we left the plantation, we had to take an identity so that they'll be able to know where we come from. So I became Jack's son. You become John's son. He becomes Will's son.
mm,
Will's son and John's son and Jack's son. So when we join the Nation of Islam, we take on an X, unknown, because we don't know our own language, our culture, our God, anything about ourselves, because they robbed us of that. So now I'm Warren X in prison, but when I come home, I'm Warren 2X because there was a brother named Warren X before I got there. So I have to be Warren 2X. You would be Gracie 3X if it was
mm.
two Gracies before you. And you look like an X woman too. All you got to do is put a little see-through headpiece on. But in the
I was like,
meantime,
this high. I gotta keep this sun up off my pretty little face.
yeah, well, you know what? It ain't doing nothing but soaking you and making you that much more radiant. But in the meantime, that's where the name Jackson gets wiped out. I called you as a slave name. My name was Warren 2X until the minister gave me a new name, Abdul Malik Muhammad. And then there goes the Warren. So we're trying to get back to where we are. And a good name is better than gold. So my name is Warren Malik Abdul Malik Muhammad. That means servant to the king.
Mm,
So if I'm a servant to the king in this time is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So I work hard to make sure I reflect him because he put too much work in for me to do something that's not of my name. I live
mm.
up to the name by making things happen. That's why I'm on here with you. That's why I'm out here killing those minds, the devils in the heads of the people out there, get them to look at us and we can transform their minds and make them a better person. So that's how the name got changed.
Absolutely. Now, I have a question from somebody that's watching, and it also was going to be my question. I see a lot of people on here saying that they are fasting and they've been fasting. And so, could you just explain to those of us who don't understand the fasting, what are the benefits of the prayer and fasting?
Okay. Well, it's many benefits. The reason why we're fasting, it's not fasting to lose some weight.
Right.
It's fasting to unlock a talent, a gift that God has deposited in us. All of us have a talent. We
Mm,
all have a gift. But the greatest way to extract that gift is through fasting and praying.
mm,
There was disciples casting out demons in Jesus' name, but they came upon a little boy, and his father, and they couldn't cast the demon out. And Jesus came and cast the boy out. And the disciples went back to the house and said, Jesus, we've been casting demons out in your name all day long, but we got to this boy, we couldn't cast him out. Why is that? He said, that's a different type of demon. Except you
mm,
go through prayer and fasting, you will never yield that type of power to extinguish that level demon because demons are on different levels. A demon could be in college. How you doing? My name is so and so. I'm going to college. Or you can catch a demon over here selling dope. Hey man, get off my block. You know I'm making money over here. Don't bring that stuff over here. You hear me? Next time you come back, I'm gonna shoot you up. That's a different demon than that college student, right?
mm.
You see the difference in the demons? This
Yes.
demon over here is a drug dealer and he ain't playing. The other one is just a demon in college that don't have no knowledge. So in order
Mm,
for you to kill the demon over there in the drug dealing world where I came from, you're gonna have to have some praying and fasting so God will release those 5,000 havoc making angels that the Quran speaks about that will help you kill that demon in that mind of that man. That's why we fast for 3 days. and we
Mm,
make our 5 prayers a day. 72
mm,
hours. It not only helps you mentally and spiritually and makes you that much powerful, but it also saves your life from that cancer, that high blood pressure, that stroke,
mm,
those clogged arteries, that diabetes, and all
mm.
the other ailments that kill you and kill me. If you fast, the Most High Elijah Muhammad said that fasting cures 90% of all diseases. You shouldn't have breast cancer. You shouldn't have uterus cancer or prostate cancer. You shouldn't have no cancer. The only reason you got cancer because you can't push back on that plate.
Mm.
You can't push back. If you push back on that, then you give your bloodstream an opportunity to purify itself. And 72 hours kills all bad white blood cells, and sends new ones into your bloodstream. And now you're a new person. This is why we fast every week from Thursday to Sunday, 72 hours. Kill that, kill the spiritual diseases, mental diseases, physical diseases. Oh, it's the best kept secret. And you should try it, Sister Gracie, because you think you shining now. You sure enough gonna shine.
Amen to that. Now, can I ask, when you say, you do it for the 72 hours, does that mean those whole 3 days, that whole 3 days from that Thursday to whenever you don't eat anything?
I don't eat anything. As we speak right now, I have not ate since Wednesday. It's
Okay.
Friday. And you see
Okay.
me drinking coffee right now.
Okay.
I won't eat it. I won't eat a spoon of rice from the Chinese rice box.
Mm,
I won't eat anything until Sunday night after the
mm.
Zoom. But it's a struggle. It's a struggle. You got
I
to do.
know.
If you ever want to know how strong you really is, start fasting and it'll show you how weak you are.
I know, cause I be trying to stay in bed. I'm pregnant right now. Baby, he be like, "Mommy, I need a snack," and I be like, "No, little baby, it's time to go to sleep."
That's
So
awesome.
it's
Well, you
definitely, it's something mental, and you have to have that mental strength. You got to have that faith. You have to, and I think that, just my, outside looking in, that's the strength of that prayer that you have to have, because
absolutely,
that helps keep that mental on track, because it's easy to get on TV and see all them, and I watch the food channel too, so I'm always watching something about food, okay? So,
hmm
you got all these different things that'll throw you off of your path and what you're trying to reach and accomplish. But those prayers that'll give you and feed you so you're able to overcome those humps.
absolutely. But by you being pregnant, you don't. That doesn't fasting does not include because you have to nurture that baby and give him something to eat. I'll fast. Your husband can fast, but you have to feed the baby because he didn't come here to fast. He's
Mm.
trying to grow up. He came in here as a sperm cell, and he's evolving. He's evolved pretty much because he's moving around in you. You said,
Yeah, he ain't
yeah,
sat down. He gonna be
right.
he gonna be active. So
Absolutely, absolutely. And you want to keep him fed so that he can come to full term. And as time marches on in life, he can start his fast too. But right now, we have to feed the baby.
absolutely. Now I have another question from a
Sure.
viewer. What do you eat when you come off of your fast? So on Sunday, when you're done, what is it that you are going to be able to partake in? Are there certain things?
Well, we got the famous bean soup. It's called navy bean soup. We
Maybe.
eat bean soup, vegetables. I fry up vegetables,
Mm,
fruit, things that this is my plant. I can't drink a Coca Cola. This is a plant. My
mm,
body comes from the earth. My flesh is of the soil. My
mm,
bone is of the stone. My blood is the water that you see raining down on you. It's just chemically put together
mm,
by the majestic God of the universe. But it's still water. So I got to put water in, put juice in, put things in, but don't put no pop in. Where that come from? What fruit that come from? You see what I'm saying? May as well put some gasoline in, or better yet, put some Kool-Aid in your car. You want to put what's necessary for that to make the machine run good. So that's what I do. I eat beans, uh, fruits, vegetables, and I'm very creative in what I eat. So veggie burgers, etc. Whatever
mm.
it is, I know how to make things work for me. I keep it fun.
So you gonna have to join me on cooking with Gracie Love then, and we gonna have to, share. You gonna have to share some of your recipes with me.
Now, only if you can give up that pork. You on pork?
I dabble, but not a lot. I'm more chicken and beef, especially with
Okay.
being
It's
pregnant and some of my health issues. I tend to stick to the chicken and the beef. That's my thing. And
okay.
fish. Oh, I love me some
Okay.
fish. I'll eat
Well,
some fish up in a minute.
it's a start. It's a start. Well, you go ahead. Don't you give that baby no pork. That baby don't know nothing about no pork. Don't you give him that.
No, just the chicken, the beef, and the fish. Just now.
Okay, it's okay. Hmm.
Now, you mentioned that, back, when you were younger, you got to see your father and your uncles doing things to get money. And, nowadays the kids call it chasing the bag. So,
Hmm.
what do you have for our youth, our young men, not just our young men, but our young people that are out here chasing the bag?
Hmm. You know, when I was in Atlanta this past weekend, I was speaking to about three different football teams and a panel, and basically they just chasing the bag because they can't see the future. They don't know the repercussions behind it. But
Um,
my life story, I have a documentary out too. But when I speak to them, they listen to me because they're just children. All you got to do is show them where you've been. I did the 15 years. They don't want to get that 15 years put on them. I asked them before, okay, if I gave you $1 million today, I gave you 15 years. That means you'll be coming home 20, man, 17. Can you take it? Oh, no, I don't want it. Well, you chasing the bag. That's what's going to happen. You're going to have to do it if they catch you. And they may give you more. That was back in the 90s when I got that.
mm,
They're going to give you 35. You're going to come home with granddad with no children because you ain't got no children yet. So you
right,
got to discourage them. You have to speak the language of the children in order for you to affect the cure. But you can't leave them void. You can't take a little hustle from them and don't put something in its place.
right.
If you don't put something in its place, then they're going to revert back to what they were doing. They're easy catching because they're young and dumb. They're not dumb as far as their homework, but they have no experience. They have no experience. They only been here 15, 16, 17, 18 years. So how you discourage them is by showing them your life story. That's
Mm,
why God wrote my life out like this so that I can be a testimony for them and I can use my oratory skills to actually persuade them to come my way instead of going that way.
And that's why I said earlier, God chooses people who have been through some things, right?
Hmm.
Because people can relate to that. They can,
Absolutely.
like you said, they see that you've been through it, you've done this. So you ain't somebody that's just out here just running their mouth. You're actually out here with a purpose. You're serving something. You're trying to save them from going through something they don't have to go through, something that they probably couldn't handle anyway.
That's right. You're absolutely right.
I have another question from a viewer who wanted to know, with all the things that praying and fasting does, why do you think that there's such a pushback about it?
Why do ask that question one more time?
They wanted to know, with all the good benefits of fasting and praying, why do you think that there's such a pushback? People are so reluctant or have so many negative things to say about it.
The reason being is because we have two angels in our mind, in our kingdom. You know, the scripture says, have you not learned that you are God's kingdom, that God's temple, and God resides in you? For the kingdom of God is within you. Well, inside of there, you have a negative and a positive. So when you're dealing with people who are fighting you off, that's just the negative energy of Satan inside of them because they don't want you to come to birth. They don't
Mm,
want you to manifest. They want to keep you like a crab in the barrels, keep you down here with us. Because if you start fasting and praying and you start manifesting the gifts that and talents that God put in you, then you're going to outshine us.
mm,
You're going to outshine us. So we want to discourage you because they don't have the willpower, nor do they have the fight in them to resist the devil that the devil may flee from them. It takes some real willpower to stop eating because that's the biggest heroin in the drug industry. There's no cocaine, heroin more powerful than that plate that you can't put down.
That's right.
We more on that dope than the crackhead is on his dope, or the dope head is on his dope, because he got to get the money together. We got a cabinet full of anything to snack on. If we ain't eating, we snacking. If we eating, we drinking something. It's just a heroin. That's why we die from diabetes, high blood pressure. We have a massive stroke, heart attack. We die from all these different cancers. Everything goes wrong. COPD, can't got tanks on us walking around like something like it ain't right. Like this natural. We just something we messed up. But if you do as the messenger said, start fasting once a week, and it'll cleanse 90% of all disease. And you don't want to be sick, as cute, as pretty as you are. You don't want to be sick. So then you have to check what you eat, because you don't get sick from the heavens. You don't get sick because it was a magic trick. You get sick because you got yourself sick. I got myself sick. I
That's
ate that stuff until I couldn't eat it no more. I got lung cancer. Well, you earned it. What you mean I earned it? No, you should be feeling sorry for me. Why would I do that? You earned it. How I earned it? Well, when you was in high school, you had a pack of cigarettes. You smoked them all. And the next day you would buy another pack. And you did that for 30 years. You never stopped. You was most consistent in packing and smoking them cigarettes. And then you got lung cancer and you're going to cry about it. Hey, man, you put work in to get that. You earned that. In the same way, you can fast and pray for the same 30 years and you can live 125 years, 150 years. But no one is taking on this challenge. But I am, and thousands of other are. And you should do the same thing, Gracie. You're too pretty to be killing your own self. That's suicide.
Oh, that's right. And like you said, with all the different health things that are going on, it's important that we take care of our bodies. Because like you said, you ain't worried about your body until it don't work right no more, and then you
Mm-hmm.
crying, you
And then
know.
you crying.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's absolutely right. One thing I like to ask people, well, before I get to that, let me ask you one more thing, because you touched on your trip to Atlanta, and I just wondered if you could touch on your trip to Atlanta a little bit more and how that really impacted you.
Well, a brother by the name of Daniel Buggs, he's an NFL player, retired.
Mm,
When he retired, he wanted to give back to the youth. He went back and he started a classic football thing that he does every year. It was the 12th anniversary this year.
mm,
And he had me come down there and we gave money out for the winners of an essay. And I was able to get out there and talk to the three different teams, thousands of others they had out there. But I was able to go out there and affect them mentally and spiritually so that I could possibly deter them from doing what we was just talking about. After the game, they still got ops. And
right.
when they go out there after the game and they still like girls and they still know they ops, the next thing you know, you can kill somebody and you don't get to go to college, you go to penitentiary for the rest of your life. Or you
Mm,
get killed. So it's my job to go out there and fight the devil that's in their kingdom, that's got
mm,
them thinking like that. And that's what I did. And I mentored. We got about 300 that I'm mentoring from that state.
wow.
So we got to have some guidance. Where's the parents? Where's the father? Where's the mother? The mother and the father, sometimes they need some mentoring too.
Yeah. A lot of
Mm.
us are young parents out here, and we're still
Yeah,
trying to figure ourselves out, and then got to figure out these little babies that we have. And
absolutely.
it's a struggle. It's a struggle.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. And some of them, they ain't young parents. They 50 and 60 and they big kids,
Mm, mm,
because the apple don't fall too far from the tree. If you got a little freak and you 60, then the fruit came from a freak tree.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? So I'm good and that baby crazy. Ready.
mm.
Yeah,
Right.
I
And
heard that.
I think a lot of us parents, we don't take accountability. I don't know
Right.
where you learned that from. I done did all I could do, right? That's what we said. I don't know where you learned it. I don't know who
That's
child
right.
you. You ain't my child. I didn't teach you that right there.
Mm-hmm.
But
It,
it's not only the people we hang around outside our household, but it's the things that we've seen inside our household. Because maybe it was something we seen, and we're, as a child, we're like, okay, I don't want to do that. I see my parents do that, and now we're on this whole crazy different path. So I think
mhm.
we all, like you said, we all need to figure ourselves out. It don't matter how old you are, how old
That's
your
right.
babies are. There is always we can always do better. I
Absolutely.
got a couple of clips of some things that you have done, that we'd like to share with the people. If you don't mind, we're gonna go
Okay.
ahead and pull up a couple video clips, um, and show the people a little bit about some of the things that we've been talking about.
Okay.
Leave Miss Bridget is gonna get that on. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Essay. We're going to present him with a reward. Thank you, thank you. Let's give a round of applause for prayer and fasting. Coming all the way from Chicago with his founder, Mr. Abdul Malik. He's come to do a presentation too. Can we get D Flowers? Looks like a military man, doesn't it? Have any of y'all ever heard of Malcolm X? Say yes. If you ever heard of Malcolm X, this gentleman wearing the brown uniform is like the modern day Malcolm X. Malcolm X was a giver, was always given. Well, this young man, Mr. Abdul Malik, is a modern day Malcolm X. He is the number one fisherman internationally, one more time, internationally for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And he brought many of us, members of P&F Foundation, around the country to support young people. He has a history of speaking at 54 schools in 24 days. I'm sorry, it's something I have to hurry up. So we just want to make sure that he came all the way from Chicago to support the youth, to give them $1,000. He get $500 to two winners. One is Mr. D. Flowers. Congratulations, give him a round of applause. He won first place from Stevenson. We wanted to give you a check, but he said, we're not accustomed to getting it that way. We used to give him $1. So we gave it to you, a big wad, a big stack. $500. Isn't that wonderful? We've done work at Huron Valley, Dominican Republic, and Jamaica. We've helped children all over. We just want to make sure the youth here stop the killing is what Mr. Abdul Malik is about. We're happy to have you part of our family now. Thank you so very much. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Dutchtown High School in the middle of the field. Our presentation is taking place right now to the Dutchtown High School with the check from the Inner City Classic. Goes to Dutchtown for $5,000.
All right, very powerful video right there. Getting to see you looking sharp too. You was looking sharp. And seeing you giving those awards out to those babies like that. Now I have two questions for you.
Okay.
One I have, and then one we have from a viewer. My question is, she mentioned P and F. Can you explain to us what is P and F?
P and F is prayer and fasting.
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
If I didn't want to be out here guessing, I don't want
Yeah,
to be out here
prayer and
guessing.
fasting. That's the only reason we're able to go out there and be effective. Because,
Mm,
like I told you earlier, I can kill demons if I pray and fast that normally I wouldn't be able to fit. I wouldn't be able to kill. But through my prayer and my fasting, it has unleashed the power that it's like a genie in the lamp. You remember I Dream of Genie?
yeah, that was my mama's show. She loved I
Yeah, you
Genie. Yeah.
rub the genie, the lamp, and the genie comes out. Well, if you pray and fast, you'll get a genie to pop out.
Mm. Now, the second question comes from a viewer, and they wanted to know: Can should you marry outside of your faith?
You could, well, marrying outside your faith is not good. And your faith is not Christian or Muslim. That's not your faith. Your faith is not what you say it is. Your faith is what you do. Because you got a bunch of Muslims that don't pray, don't fast. You marry him, you marry a shell. You got some Christians, don't pray, don't fast. You marry that one. I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim. You are what you do.
Mm,
Then where we come from, if you're praying, we got Christians over here in praying and fasting that have been fasting for over 100 weeks, 130 every week, and making their fast perfect for anyone who is praying and fasting. If you're not praying and fasting, then you're going to tear down the one who's trying to be next to God.
mm,
If you ever look at the scripture says the head of Christ is God, the head of man is Christ, the head
mm,
of woman is man. If you marry a man that ain't connected to Christ, then you're going to fizzle out with him
mm,
because you trying to be next to God. You can't be next to God if I'm submitting to my husband who's disconnected from Christ. Then I'm getting all my energy from a so-called American Negro stamped grade A.
mm,
I'm not getting mine from God because he's disconnected. So
mm,
now I find myself fighting him. I find out in his phone he got a sneaky link.
mm,
And now she talking to me. He don't even know she talking because girls gonna talk to each other.
mm.
And he's sitting there looking stupid. And then the girl come over and you've been talking to her for 2 months. And now she in the house when he come home. You tell her to get in my bed. So when he get in there and you grab him, he look at you. I be in the closet.
Mm.
We finna get him, girl.
Cause that's
But
how
that,
we be ready to set y'all up. Oh, you thought you was getting away with it? No, no, you wasn't getting away with it. What's
that's
that in the
exactly
dark comes to light, baby,
that's
all the
exactly what it is.
time.
That is exactly what it is. But you want a man
Mm.
that is got Christ
A
at the
partner
head.
either way, because it don't have to
Hmm.
necessarily be the man. Man, you could be out here
That's
with
right.
the woman who's not connected with God
Hmm.
as well.
Hmm.
So either way, it goes. You
Either
have to
way, it
be.
goes both
It
ways. You're
needs
right.
to be so
Hmm.
for me personally, I absolutely agree with that. I don't
Hmm.
really think it matters what your faith is or what have you, but if you both are on that same mental level, that there's a higher being, there's someone higher than anyone on this earth that can provide and give to us, then that's a start. Like, so you don't want nobody that you got to fight to get up and pray, fight to get up and fast, fight to get up, and if y'all go to church, get up and go
Hmm.
to church. Whatever it is, you don't want to have that. You don't want to be in that journey by yourself if you're a partnership.
That's right. You got it. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. I'm gonna interview you.
I'm ready.
No, that was excellent. You said it. That's it. If you are on that, if you're evenly yoked, meaning that your practice, well, you shouldn't marry the man. You should know about him before you marry him, or you should know about her before you marry him. You know what you're getting into. And if you want to pray, and my husband don't want to, not my husband, my boyfriend don't like prayer. He an atheist. He don't believe in that. Well, I wouldn't even be with him. It's more fish in the sea. You tell them, oh, me and you ain't gonna go nowhere. We may have a rendezvous, but we ain't gonna be able to go for the long haul because it's gonna come a time where me and you ain't gonna have no real connection, or we're
Right.
gonna fight. So yeah, that's what it is. So I'm not really the messenger teaches us to marry in your faith, but marrying in your faith don't mean because you're a part of the nation. Because you could be, we got a lot of divorce over here with us too, just like everyone else.
Mm,
So it's not because we bad people. It's because sometimes we're not dedicated to what we say we represent to the letter, or to the point that we can override certain things and make the journey of unifying with your mate like it should be till death do us part. But no, you can catch him. I'm letting him go because someone was texting them
mm,
when you get a divorce. So
mm.
yes, ma'am.
I know I'm just keeping. I just got so many questions myself, and I got everybody on the chat jumping in. So something from a viewer that they wanted to know, do you coach during fasting, and how can people join your coaching through to help them through the fasting?
Well, Majida is putting a number down there, and you got my Facebook. My Facebook is under Warren Jackson. I got Abdul Malik too. I got both of them. You can text me, or you can text Majida, or they can text you, Bridget.
Absolutely.
Bridget. You can text her, and then she'll send you to me. She has a cell phone connection with me, so you can go that route. And definitely, I will coach, but you don't want to. You don't want to go really dealing with God unless this is what you want. Go ahead and get through with what you're doing, because you don't want to go with God and say, "Okay, I surrender, God," and then you divorce him. He ain't as nice as a boyfriend when you
Mm,
break up with him. He'll make your path very rocky because he's a jealous God. You came over and said you're gonna fight and save your life and clean up the idols in your temple.
mm.
And then all of a sudden you leave me when I was helping you. No, he'll make your world upside down. So if you want me to mentor you on prayer and fasting, I will do it, but you should count the cost before you come. Make
Absolutely. And I
hmm
see the number down here, 818-614-1902.
That's it. Perfect.
And now, my own personal question I like to ask all the guests, whether it's here on the podcast or, on my own podcast. Not all days are perfect, right? We have our struggles, we have our trials that we have to go through, our journey that we have to go through. And some days, people just see, oh, he's sitting on here, he got his nice suit, he out here with the babies, handing out his grants and all these things, but they don't know that background story, that struggle that it took to get there. So
Right.
how do you encourage people to get through the struggle? Because whether you're going in faith, whether you're an artist, business owner, there are hard days, and there are days where you might just be like, oh, I don't know if I could do this no more, I don't know. So how do you encourage people to get through that?
Well, most times people have to look where you came from. If you rewind my tape back, you can rewind my tape back into my mother's womb before she birthed me. And you can rewind it 9 months before that. And then you'll find me not even in her womb. But when she met my dad and they had their intercourse, that was my beginning. But when I went in, I had a million more sperm cells that was chasing for one egg.
Mm,
I beat them. You beat them. And
mm,
everybody that you look at, y'all beat them. And it was millions of them trying to get to the same. It was only one egg and a million shooting for it. And I won. You won.
mm.
You're a champion. I'm a champion. So there is no obstacle out here that me or you run into that has a million odds. We already went through that process to show that we are a force to be reckoned with, that we can be very consequential.
Mm.
So when you get a obstacle in your path, remember where you came from and remember the million that you beat to get here, and run through that obstacle, and ultimately you'll go through it, because after difficulty comes ease.
Mm. I couldn't have said that. I mean, I'm at this point. Thank you for coming. Like after that, it ain't. I don't know what else to say. Because a lot of us, we don't know how to deal with our lives. We don't know how to deal with misfortune and a little bit of rain every now and then. And a lot of
Hmm.
us become depressed.
Hmm.
Become suicidal.
Yep.
And that's one of the reasons why I like to ask that question, because again, like you said, a lot of us, they don't know the story. They don't know to rewind that tape back and see all the things that we had to do and that we had to overcome. They just see the end result. And some of us, don't have that. And we talked about that too. That's the power of the prayer, to have
Hmm.
something to keep you grounded and to
Absolutely.
let you know that it's gonna be okay. Like I said, everybody has those days. I am no, I am not, no different from anyone else where I have my days, but I have to
Hmm.
sit down. I have to take my moment, and I have to, ask for that strength. I have to ask for that courage, because sometimes that we need that. We need that strength.
Right.
We need that courage, and we need that wisdom from Him to get through these hard times.
Hmm. Absolutely. And just to add on to what you're saying, that's why we have prayer and fasting, the foundation to success. It's thousands of us, but we always meet Thursday, 7:30 Central Standard Time on Zoom.
Mm,
Saturday morning at 11:30 we have something called a spiritual dojo, where we go back and forth and we fight with one another. The scripture said physical training is of some value, but godly training has value for all things. But if you don't train yourself godly, then you're never going to have no real willpower to overcome obstacles that impede your progress.
mm,
That's why we do this. On Sunday, after the fast is over with, we have another Zoom, and it's the victory lap, and we have another notch under our belt. But
mm,
these are the things that you should be a part. We went to Dominican Republic together. We marched at Huron Valley in Detroit, where the sisters were in prison. They're being raped and beat up and stuff like that. We went there. We went to Savior's Day. We had our first annual Savior's Day dinner together. All of us are unified. So I'm always with these brothers and sisters. So we stay really close. They're closer as a family member to me than any family member that I know. I speak
mm.
to them more. And that's what you need. That's what all of our brothers and sisters. Our unity is more powerful than an atomic bomb. And whenever you weak, you got all your sisters and brothers that's always around you,
Mhm,
whether we in different states, because most of us is in different countries, etc.
mhm.
We always around each other on Zoom. That's why this this modern day technology is so beautiful, that we can have these type of relationships and continue to build and continue to lean on one another to overcome obstacles. So hopefully I'll see you again, and we can definitely work together.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I gotta come have you on my podcast and get into some things. Definitely.
Hmm.
Again, it
Beautiful.
has been an absolute honor to be able. And oh, real quick, they got the Zoom down here. Zoom 861-0726-3027, and then it has the code. A lot of numbers. I'm gonna need y'all to do a little research, okay, and go through the comments, okay, and get that, because that is the Zoom that you were speaking about, that people can come. She put out every Thursday and Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time.
That's right.
And then again, you can text 818-614-1902, and you can get that Zoom information. Again, it is in the comments. This is live, so y'all can go back, rewatch this, because some of y'all need to go back and rewatch and get some of these gems he just dropped on all of us. And then you also can get these numbers and the Zoom information. And then one more time before I let you go, can you just tell us again how we can follow and support you and get what we need from the different messages that you have. What are your
Mhm.
different socials that people can follow you at and support you at?
Well, on Facebook, you can find me at Warren Jackson, or you can find me at Abdul Malik Muhammad. Warren Jackson is the one that I've been had, but I opened up another one because they wouldn't change the name. I don't know
Right,
what's in.
Facebook be playing. You
I
have
don't know, but you can go to my slave name Warren Jackson, and then you can see all of the history of some of the actual prayer and fasting meetings that we've had that was live, and you'll see a lot of videos. Particularly one, we had a series, a 4 point series about dialysis, because if you don't stop eating like a wolf, you're gonna mess around and lose a kidney, and you're gonna be on dialysis machine where they're gonna tie your artery and your vein together, and there's a big old knot on you, making your arm ugly. And they're gonna be taking blood out of you, putting it into a machine what it normally would be in your kidney,
yeah.
watching your blood go around, and you don't put yourself in that
You
predicament.
don't want that.
You
You
don't
don't
want
want
that.
that. I
We
watched my
do.
father go through that.
Oh
I
yeah.
took a program to be a dialysis technician to hook the
Wow.
people up to the machine.
Wow.
So, people don't want that. And
Mm-mm.
it don't matter how old you are. Ain't no age limit for it.
No.
There was people in their 20s, people in their
Mm-hmm.
50s. It don't
Mm-hmm.
have no age limit. When that body give out, that body give out.
That's right. And you want to start doing your own dialysis by fasting and praying,
Mm,
because it'll cleanse your blood out just like the machine, but you won't have to be in that position. You do it naturally. Be proactive, not reactive. And
mm.
that's what we are. We're very proactive over here with praying and fasting. So here's to you, sister.
Thank you. So, and also to you, I
Mhm.
again, it has been my honor, my pleasure. I got one last question for you because I hate to y'all. Everybody got want to know some things, but I got this one last question, and then I gotta let you go. What has or what is the hardest habit you have had to break, and how did you do
I still ain't broke it.
it? Right.
No. No, I broke a lot of. I mean, the hardest habit, the hardest habit that I had is this world.
Mm,
I like the life, I like to live that life, and I had to let it go in order for me to become who I am today.
mm,
And that's generally speaking the life, the money, the power, respect, the woman, the this. I love that. But I had to make a decision. Do I love it more than I love the God within? I mean, I could take my way and lean on my own understanding, or I can take God's way and lean on Him. And I
mm.
seem to get more results when I'm leaning on Him than I do leaning on myself. So that
Right.
was the hardest one out of all.
And I could agree with that. And like you said, you still working the birthday because every day, if you have that mindset, you want to be better. You're trying to do something better. So every day, you're struggling with that. I don't think that's a habit you ever break if you're trying to grow and be better and help others.
That's right. You're 100% right. 100% right. Beautiful.
Well, I again thank you so much,
Thank
brother,
you.
for coming, sharing your time with. You didn't talk to me for a whole hour, son. Yeah, and I just appreciate it, and I appreciate you. I appreciate the spirit that you have, and
Thank
thank
you.
you so much for coming and sharing your story with us this Friday. It has been my absolute honor to speak with you and to get to
Absolutely.
share this with everyone, and just thank you so much.
I thank you. And I thank Bridget for having Miss Wiley for having me. And I mean, hopefully we'll see each other again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Again, the nation's top fisherman,
Mhm.
Abdul Malik. Oh, let me get it right. Let me get it right. See, I told
It's
you
all right.
earlier. So, brother Abdul Malik Muhammad.
There you go. See, the black woman can't do no wrong, no way. So you ain't never did wrong in my book.
I thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you.
And again, for everything that you've shared with us today. It has been my pleasure. Peace and blessings to you, your family, and we will definitely, definitely connect again.
Yes, ma'am.
What a powerful interview, you guys. The nation's top fisherman, like I said, brother Abdul Malik Muhammad, you guys. An absolute pleasure, an absolute honor. Again, you guys, go back, share this, um, like it, share it. There's somebody out there that needed what was said today, and also get all of the numbers and Zooms that you guys can join and reach him at. And again, thank you to everybody who tuned in, and thank you so much for everybody that wished me congratulations on the baby. I absolutely appreciate it. And you guys, just before I wrap up, want to let you guys know, please follow the Chicago Bridge Magazine podcast on most major podcast platforms. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and more. And for information on being featured in our magazine, visit our website, the Chicago Bridge Magazine. And also, you guys, on the Roku channel, you guys need to check it out. Check it out, okay? TCBM TV Network, all right? And they have the reality TV show Welcome to the Red Spot Chicago. And you guys also stop by at your local Vons where you guys can pick up a copy of the Chicago Bridge magazine. And I thank you all so much for watching this evening. Thank you so much to Brother Abdul Malik Muhammad for joining and giving his time and his gems. Thank you all for tuning in with your questions. And thank you so much to everyone putting in the contact information so that way we are able to join. I am the fabulous Gracie Love, and you guys can follow me on Facebook at the Euphoria at Mels Euphoria on Facebook and the Euphoria Hour on Instagram. And also check us out, me and my good friend and business partner who I am so thankful for. You guys say a prayer for my good friend Mandy. She's experiencing some complications, and just pray for her right now. But again, we've ventured off and we're doing something amazing where you guys can come and not only get consultation about promotion and marketing for your business, how to get funding for your business, but then we also help you relax after a long day of business with some great spa services. So you guys check us out. Surrender to Euphoria on Instagram. And again, peace and blessings to you guys. Enjoy your weekend and join me on Tuesday as I'll be doing Suffering in Silence, the Males Euphoria Hour. Until next time, you guys, I'm your girl, Gracie Love.